Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over the full in-depth floor 7 guide. So this is updated with all of the new cheeses, all of the new strategies, and a bunch of little niche items for certain classes. So we go from everywhere from upcrushing to cheesing bomb. And yeah, if you guys don't know any of the little niche things such as upcrushes in floor 7, make sure to watch this video. We will have the chapters thing. This video is designed for you to be able to complete your first floor 7 run and to get good at it. So even if you have like 50, 70 completions, you should still watch this because there might be something that you have not seen before. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to be going over some needed and useful items. So these are items that you should definitely have before running this floor, and if they're not that necessary, I'll tell you guys, but trust me, you should have these. So first up, we have the Bonzu staff. So this is obviously needed. It's used to get the crystal in phase 1, and it helps you leap great distances in the boss fight. The Wither Cloak is needed because you use it to block all lava damage pretty much from all phases of the boss. So it's used in all phases of the boss. I highly recommend getting one. You need a stonk, and you also should learn stonk cheeses. It's very important. Trust me, it'll speed up your runs so much, and you also need it to cheese bomb defuse. 100% have a stonk. If you are a tank, please do not play tank without having Jiggle Bells. It really ruins the party finder experience for everyone. You can take Necron aggro. You won't have to complain about other players taking aggro. It's really, really nice to have, and you should have one if you're playing tank. That's a class specific item, being tank class. A rogue sword. If you're a mana class, or even archer, when I played archer I had it, so arch, burrs, mage, you should have a rogue sword to clear faster. It's really cheap, get like always 3 or 4 on it and you're set. And yeah, next up we have Jerry Sheen Gun. This is heavily optional. I don't use the Jerry Sheen Gun, but if you're a mage you can use it to get crystal easier, and you can also use it to upcrush much easier. So if you're a tank, you also might want one. And then next, these are also pretty optional, the Ice Spray and the Last Breath. So Mage and Archer can both use Ice Spray to help with their clear, and it's just really good to have. Both classes should have that weapon. And I say healers and tanks should have Last Breath because they don't do a lot of DPS. So during phase 2 and 4, when Necron goes either crushed or to mid, shoot him with Last Breath, get away his defense, and your team can DPS. And next up, we have the Necron heads. So these helmets have their stats doubled while they're in floor 7, making them better for EHP and damage than Necron helmet for berserkers and archers. These helmets can also be used for mage if they have EHP issues in the boss room. And then finally we have Bonzo Mask, and then this is used by mages during the second phase of the boss to prevent being skull stacked and being one-tapped. If you're playing mage and it's your first run, definitely use a Bonzo Mask in phase 2. One more accessory that is borderline necessary for floor 7 is the Wither Artifact and Relic. These both reduce your damage taken by withers by 20% and 25% respectively, and the entire boss fight is withers. So it basically gives you 20% more EHP, which is absolutely disgusting, and you need this item. So one of the other items that you should really get is one of the best healing items in the entire game, and it's called the Florid Zombie Sword. It's definitely worth the upgrade from the Ornate, and the burst healing is really useful. Say if you get like one-hearted by Wither Skulls in phase 2, something else like that, it's really useful, and you should use this item. Alright, so next up we have the Conjuring. So Conjuring is basically a free Infinity Boom TNT for all classes that aren't mage. Basically, it's got like a 30-second cooldown, and every time you right-click, it shoots a guided sheep that can explode crypts and super boomable walls. It's very useful, and it saves you a lot of money on super boom TNT. It doesn't work on mage because mages already have the sheep ability. Alright, so next up, we have the bare minimum setups. So, to be honest, with these you will probably get kicked from parties, but if you manage to find a 5-stack of, say, friends that will let you in, you can use these for floor 7. So for tank, you should have 3/4 Necrolord armor with a Reaper mask, a high level legendary whale, Jingle Bells, and the best weapon you got your hands on, probably a Livid Dagger or Flower of Truth. For burrs, you need an Axe of the Shredded, 3/4 Shadow Assassin, a Golden Necron head, a Flower of Truth, and a high level Yeti. For Archer, well, Juju and Archer are basically synonymous with each other right now. So for Archer, you want a Juju, should be decent. Definitely should be decent. 3/4 SA and a golden head, a high level blue whale, legendary of course, and a wither skeleton pet for mid. A healer, which I honestly don't recommend playing this class. You might get kicked from a lot of parties, but if you do choose to go that route, you should have 3/4 Necrolord or 3/4 Shadow Assassin with a Mender Crown, and then a legendary blue whale, and then Livid or Flower of Truth. And then for mage, as far as bare minimum setups go, you should have a hype. I'm going to be honest with you. You kind of need hype to play mage, so I recommend playing one of the other classes until you drop handle and then switching over to mage. Alright, so after the bare minimum setups, these are the ideal setups. So this is what you should strive for. So all classes should ideally have a Necron Blade and Storm to clear, because it is so much faster for clearing than any other class. And then to start off with tank, obviously 3/4 Scolder and a Reaper Mask, and Estrella, Jingle Bells, and a Last Breath. For Berserk, you would want 3/4 Necron, an Axe, and a Velk to Velk swap, a Golden Head, but with a Diamond Head heavily recommended, and a tier boosted Ender Dragon pet. For Archer, pretty much the same thing with a Juju or Term, except this time you want a hype to clear. There's not really much point in anything else if you're running floor 7, because you probably won't need the extra healing from Scylla, but that is an option if you're struggling with survivability. And then for healer, ideally, to be honest, there is no healer on the team. Healer is only really needed if the rest of the party needs one to survive, and if you're at the point where you're using Necron Blade, you're using Wither Armor, you probably have a high enough cata party so that they don't need a healer. And then mage, you want 1 or 2 sets of Storm. 2 is better, but you don't really need it. 1 should be reforged to Necrotic and Loving for the chestplate, and then you want Wither Goggles. And then the other one should be reforged to Ancient with a golden or diamond head and a 1 for all giant sword. So you only want the giant sword if you have the second set of Storm as well. And then you want a hype, a level 100 blue whale, and a level 100 black cat for clearing. And if you are going the LCM route for boss, you do want a ledge E-Drag. Okay, so now you've got your gear and you're ready to start the dungeon. So basically clear as normal, and make sure to clear outwards and discover all the rooms in a chain, and then do secrets working backwards. If you do not already know secret and secret path, you can load up the secret waypoint mod or the dungeon secret guide Discord, which are both in the description below, and join a solo floor 7 run. Then clear the whole dungeon to become more comfortable with secrets and force yourself to learn them. So that's a great way to learn secrets, by the way. That's what I did, and it's really, really good. So now for the specialized parts of clear. For bomb defuse, all you want is a stonk and a bonzo staff. And I'm going to show a video in slow motion of me cheesing bomb right now, because I think that's the best way for you guys to learn. Alright, so now we're going to move on to trap room. So trap room should be white checked for the most part, because this will significantly speed up your runs, and if your party isn't dying and finding the secrets, you don't need it to be green checked, which means you only need to get 1 secret in each trap room. So there are 2 variants, and you will need a stonk for one of them, and you will need spirit boots for another one. The cheeses are pretty simple, so I'm just going to show them on screen now. Alright, so those are the only really specialized parts of clear, so let's see what happens once you drop into the boss fight. So phase 1 is relatively simple, with only 1 real mechanic players need to know. You do need to learn how to bonzo staff the crystal. This will take some practice, but once you get it down, it will be carrying your low kata teammates. Let's be honest, how many people that are kata 28 actually know how to bonzo crystal? I know, if you're in the comments, you probably do. You're gonna type in me that. But I swear, some parties I've seen that are lower kata, I will be constantly getting 2 crystals. So it's very important to know how to Bonzo staff the crystal. And here's a video of it. So this is what you do basically. It's hard to describe, so here you go.
When I stopped writing, I remember we made a promise. Something important. This letter is where it starts, I know it. Wow.
Alright, so basically, after both of those crystals are placed down, all you really need to do is just drag him or direct him into the laser. The tank should do this with Jingle Bells. And then DPS him until he's down to 3/4 HP, and then you drop down into phase 2. So during phase 2, your objective is to crush Necron with pillars located on the 4 corners of the map. As you start, your tank will type pre-fire or no pre-fire. This will mean that if he types pre-fire, as soon as you land, you spam right click, you spam all your abilities, and you try and kill all of the wither miners as fast as possible. And if he types NPF, you want to round up to the platform with the purple pillar, and you don't want to hit any of the mobs and just wait for your teammates to do so. So now for the specialized roles in phase 2. So first up we have padding. If you are a mage, your job is to control the pillar with the pad. You can get to the pad by jumping into the lava with your wither cloak or using your Bonzo staff to hop to it. The pillar starts down, and when you step on it, it moves up, and then once it reaches the top, it steps back down. You want to pad for what's called an Upcrush, meaning once your tank is near the pillar with Necron, you will tap the pad and then quickly step off. If you do not successfully crush, bring the pillar all the way up and then all the way down, and then bring it all the way down when your tank is like running around in circles with Necron and it looks like he's got it under control. So next up we have crushing. So this is for tanks. So this is what the Upcrush actually is. So an Upcrush happens when after the pillar is slightly raised, any part of Necron's hitbox touches the bottom of the pillar within 5 seconds. So once the pillar is raised slightly off the ground by the mage on pad, your job is to Jingle Bells if you haven't already, and then look at the ground with Jerry Sheen Gun or Bonzo Staff and propel yourself upwards and Necron, and then he will be crushed. Make sure you propel him into the bottom of the pillar, obviously. And then once that happens, all you guys need to do is DPS. So the entire party's job is to do as much DPS to Necron as possible. Healer or tanks should last breath at this time. And if you're playing Archer or Mage, you should also be ice spraying him and then doing just as much damage as possible. And then obviously, once he's done, you'll see like this red circle on the ground. You just want to stand on that and you'll be dropped down into phase 3. So this is a very important part and everyone should know this. So these are called callouts, terminal callouts. So either before the run or as you drop down, everyone will call a terminal. S1 means you will solo the entire first section of terms. 2T means you will do all of the top terminals in the second terminal area. And 2B means you will do the bottom terminals in the second terminal area. And 3 means you will solo the third terminal. And 4 means you will solo the entire fourth terminal. And I know what you're thinking, how do I even get to those terminals? Well, here's where stonking the gate comes in. In order to stonk the gate, you have to be very close to 400 speed, and in order to get this speed, you can use a black cat pet, a rogue sword, or a young dragon set. You want to swap to your speed items just before falling down, and then make sure while you're stonking through the gate, you want to be holding down your W key. This is very important, because if you're holding like W and D, you won't make it through. And as a note, when you're doing the device in Terminal 4, be sure to drop an item on the pressure plate to resolve a common bug that prevents you from being able to complete the device, and you might throw the run, which you don't want to do. And finally, we have part 4. You're almost done. So if you're an archer, what you want to do is you want to just type mid as you're dropping down, and then you want to quickly Bonzo Staff from the ring to the middle area, and then just sit on the very, very edge of the middle area and just kind of shoot your Juju at Necron while your teammates DPS him on ring. Once you see him go mid, you want to stay standing on the edge, and you just want to do as much DPS to him as possible, using your explosive shot and using your rapid fire, just using all your abilities. And as an extra note, when you're playing Archer, you can switch to a Wither Skeleton pet during phase 4, because you basically just don't get hit by Necron when you're at mid. So the tank's job for phase 4 is to activate your Jingle Bells and to run into the corner of the pillar. This will just mean Necron will be stuck there and he will not move, and it will let your Archer also DPS him from mid because he's not moving. There should be a video playing about that right now. And for everyone else, your only job is to DPS him. Once he starts to fly to the mid, Spirit Leap to your archer, and then just continue to DPS him. Just remember, do not move too close to Necron during this phase, or he will one-tap you when he mids. So stay around the edge of mid for at least 5 seconds before moving into melee or DPS him. Last up, we have chests. Always run floor 7 with 35 mil in your bank, please. If you dropped a Necron's handle and couldn't afford it, it would literally haunt you for the rest of your Skyblock career. Use the mods, Not Enough Updates, or Skyblock Extras to see if a chest is profitable or not. If you don't have these mods, a good rule of thumb is Soul Eater, Precursor Gear, and Wither Catalysts are almost always profit. Well, I hope you guys are ready to become Party Finder Floor 7 Demons. Now that you can call out your parties for being brain-dead monkeys who can't upcrush, and seem to have never touched a pad in their life. In all seriousness, thank you all so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope you found this video informative, as a lot of time went into it. Also, special shout out to Nexus, as he helped out with a lot of these clips and gave many suggestions. He streams on Twitch from 4 to 7 Eastern on weekdays, and his socials are linked below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.